What up, my devil? Sensei-tutum here with another video for you. So this week, gonna hit some charts briefly because I know everyone wants to see that anyway. We're gonna hit some charts briefly and put that up on the old Publix YouTube. And then I'm gonna answer some questions for the educational members in another video about how old to trades, indicator stuff, divergence stuff. All kinds of good questions from you guys this week, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw two videos together this week so we can put one out in the public. And the TA on these charts is gonna be pretty limited, and we're gonna get through it pretty quick. No music in the background this week. Updated some drivers, and my desktop audio doesn't want to pick up on my recording device and don't feel like messing with it. Some of you will be pleased, some of you will be disappointed. Either way, it'll be back whenever I feel like getting it back. So let's take a sip of coffee and hit it and get it. All right, so Bitcoin last week. I'm going to keep this very brief. I said I was predicting more sideways or some up before some down. And in light of that, I had suggested that maybe there were better trades than potentially on Bitcoin, since we had this pretty evidently on the table, and that perhaps where there were some altcoins to take advantage of, and I suggested a trade on DOT. We'll take a look at that in a second. Just to not breeze over Bitcoin, but clearly, what are we doing? Doing exactly what we anticipated. I don't remember what count I showed you guys. This is one that we've been watching. Everyone's been watching highly. I don't know what form of analysis a lot of people do, but any technical analysis that looks at pattern recognition, right? Elliott Wave, trash can traditional, whatever it may be, they look at the ideas of triangles. And I think that every single form of analysis would say that we have a potential triangle on the table. Oh no, it broke the trend line. There's a breakout. It's confirmed the opposite direction. No, not the case. Not the case at all. So very much still on the table, never confident in these things that they're going to play out exactly the way that you think. But do remember, no matter what form of analysis you're using, a triangle is a continuation pattern. So yeah, this suggests that continuation to the downside. Basically, no analysis has changed here. And just, if you quickly want a brief overview of what my pattern analysis was for the topping event here, it was a flat. A lot of times when you see a head and shoulders, that's what you get. And that's, trash can traditional. And, I call it trash can traditional. But look, hey, if traditional TA works for a lot of people, so I'm not knocking it too much. It's pretty super simple to learn. So, yeah, it can be a powerful thing. It's just, when I compare it to Elliott Wave, it's why am I going to drive a Volkswagen Bug when I can drive a Bugatti, right? Anyway, yeah, so my leader in the clubhouse would be that this was a flat topping pattern, and that we would be continuing on to the upside once it's completed. However, that should finish in an impulse to this side. So just to roughly put it on here, something like this. See, so this needs to finish an impulse to the downside. We don't want to come up here and violate this. So that's why one of the things that I was worried about that, it would invalidate this idea is if we did come up and violate this on the upside move. The straight sideways has been a very beautiful way for the market to respect the levels. And I think that we are pretty much getting close to the end of what we're doing here. So, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into the analysis, but I don't think it's quite over, and it could still come up here before returning down. Basically, if there's, say there's a lot of shorts here that want to get squeezed, that could happen, and still, again, turn to the downside until it comes up, violates this level, and then we start looking at other alternative ideas, and unfortunately, I think that anything that violates this would sort of be a confirming factor that we're going to remain internal for at least the rest of the summer. Fuck around this way, as opposed to going up and hitting the big numbers that people keep hearing about. So I think that for the best interest of the market to continue the bull, whether I don't know what your bias is and what is best interest for you, is we do want this leg down, and that doesn't confirm that will then continue the bull, but it's just the best chance for it. And for me, this is the leading candidate in the clubhouse at the moment. but nothing highly convicted on like the rest of crypto Twitter. So many people are highly confident that they know exactly what's going to happen. You look at some of the titles here on YouTube, and they talk about shit to the dollar and things like that. It's, it's people that know what they're talking about, to be quite honest. Anyway, but there are a lot of people actually on YouTube that do. So just, remember that the ones that it's hard. The ones that are tell you what the numbers are going to be and don't leave any possibility for alternative interpretation. Those are the ones that have no clue. So use your judgment wisely. Not many of you here, so not getting much word out there. Anyway, so yeah, Bitcoin, same idea. Sideways it was either last week when we left off, it was either continue sideways or to the upside before another final actionary drop to the downside. Did not want to break this area significantly. We break this area significantly and close below, shit's fucked, to put it mildly. But I don't think that we will. So something like this, nothing scientific here, not perfect dollar levels I'm highlighting for you. Something like this is what we are expecting. So in light of that, I suggested a long on DOT because it's one of the dots that looked like it could potentially outperform Bitcoin in this time period. We were roughly right here when I suggested it. And then we came down, standard TDU method trade, algo entry. We haven't quite made target one, and we still have some other remaining, I would say, even primary targets up above. And we have what would be considered to me an unresolved wave count. So if you're in this and you want to hold it, don't blame you. I'd probably be out somewhere, break of this level, somewhere down here, take my profits and run. But we do have this above. Bitcoin will clearly dictate, but we haven't quite made target. But this is a profitable trade at this point. If you lock it in down here, it comes down, stops you out, makes target. That sucks, but hey, depends on your skill and confidence. So, but if you're already in it and you're not highly skilled and not highly confident, go ahead and pop that bow, and you can't watch it. Pop a stop right in this area. You got nice profit locked in because you're not too far off target, right? So, but once this completes to the upside, it does look like Bitcoin, it does look like this isn't a corrective with the volume, with the slope, with the angle of attack of the waves. Could clearly be wrong, always can be wrong, but this does look like after it makes target, if it hasn't already finished, we will then continue to the downside. So don't want to hold too long because it's going to continue to the downside and should at least test these lows. So that's where we're at on DOT, moving through. Doge is another one that had a great trade setting up that was pretty obvious because simple break of the downturn trend line. That's where you can suspect some sort of pop. So we're mid-pop now. But again, this one acts a little differently compared to the rest since, crazy people support it. This same thing. It looks unresolved. Hasn't quite made what I would consider primary target on retrace. But if you're not in it, now's not the time to get in it. Let's see. Yeah, we can make it all the way up to here, but unresolved Elliott count here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 4, 5, probably something like that to finish at 3, 3, or no, finish a zigzag. And of course, if we throw this on here, we're contained within the base trend. Some guy on the comments last week called it a Kennedy. I can't remember, Kennedy, whatever. I clearly know what Kennedy calls it, but anyone that doesn't know this, by the way, I am a certified Elliott Wave analyst, master designation through Elliott Wave Institute, Jeffrey Kennedy's institution, and all, literature there and material there refers to this as base trend. I mean, sure. I mean, I'm going to come up with something, name it after myself, and then see how that sticks. But yeah, it's called base trend. So if you want to call it a Kennedy channel, I don't give a shit. Anyway, moving on. EOS, not interesting. Litecoin, a lot like Bitcoin. Let's jump over here to the big boys a bit. Ethereum. This was one that I was looking at for potential yesterday. That when this finishes a retrace, we could potentially take a long to this area. Although now I'm not as sure because Bitcoin looks like it could be getting a little long in the tooth on this, what I call a wave 4. So I don't know if I'd want to be taking trades of that degree for that target. It's getting kind of lazy. It might break. It might break hard to the upside. I mean, this is a way that looks decent. And we'll talk about the way I trade patterns like that look similar to this in the other video for educational members. But it's not exactly one I want, especially when I've got the tide of the ocean, Bitcoin, signaling that, hey, pump the brakes. You know, you miss a trade, who gives a shit, right? You can always get back in. So while I do think that this does break to the upside, I just don't know about the confidence in taking it because of the degree of concern that you would be going for. Now, if you maybe play a lower level breakout, maybe I feel more comfortable with that. So that's that on Ethereum. Link, same shit. Same exact shit. You know, maybe this is sideways triangle that will continue to the upside. You know, internal reactive triangle, internal to the corrective, that will break to the upside. But again, with Bitcoin getting so long in the tooth, it's hard to say. I haven't really considered this deeply just because the trade of concern was DOT for me last week. And so that's what I've had my eye on. Of course, we had the holiday weekend, so it's kick off summer. Congratulations, everybody. We made it to summer 2021. But same thing. This looks a lot like ETH. I'd have to consider it more before I would endorse a trade on it. This does look the more likely of scenarios, but with Bitcoin where it is and needing more consideration, I'm not going to say endorse a trade like I did for DOT last week. Cardano was the same as Doge. This one offered even better. This is one that I would say I would be out of at this point. Look at the reaction on the algo entry. So, yeah, we have targets up here. I would not even be surprised at all to see it come test this level before returning to the downside. But if I were long, I'd be happy to call it. At least take some of them off the table. You know, make it a free trade. Not necessarily move a stop up. You could, but if you move a stop up at this point, you're pretty much at your entry, right? So maybe take some off the table, place the rest at break even, something like that. But the high probability event has occurred here. Let's see. GRT looking a lot like Bitcoin. No surprise there. We got the hidden bearish divergence. And then we always had the primary target down to here no matter what. Is this violated? Yeah, so this isn't a triangle at this point. And again, the way this looks, we'll talk about this in the next video with EDU members, how I like to trade these, but this is not one that I would personally take because it doesn't meet any of the criteria. But I mean, this could be in a situation where all the bull callers, you know, Bitcoin's the same way, get another pump to the upside before any sort of down. You know, and maybe the low is in, but I just the charts say something different, right? And when I say that, you know, again, pretend this is Bitcoin. Actually, no, we'll just jump over to Bitcoin. Again, when I say the low may be in, I mean relative to making a move up to this area. But if the low is in, quote unquote, air quotes, I think that we remain internal here. Again, could be wrong. Always leave that up for possibility. But guess what? We're traders. So at the moment on Bitcoin, not in a trade. And just because so I'm not going to lose money because I'm shorting the market if it goes up to here. Not interested in doing that. That would be trading for this fifth wave at that degree. Shitty trade, in my opinion. I like high probability stuff. So, all right. that's enough for the cryptos. Let's quickly touch on the gold because I touched on it last week in the video. Said that this was a perfect area for a pivot, and we have gotten that. This is a bullish consolidate. This is a healthy correction, in my opinion. Does look like the start. This could be the start of an impulse, but what did we finish to on the high side? 3-wave move, putting in quite like Bitcoin. Another flat, it looks like to me. So maybe we'll do something like this before we continue on. So bullish to me, just like Bitcoin is, with, you know, potential for another downswing. This does look like it could be finishing up. Yeah. To this level here. Rerun the low. Terminus of the 4, previous subwave. Yeah, this looks good to me. Not scared at all about that. This is opportunity, just like crypto. All right, boys. I think that's it for this week on the free video. Members, look for the answers to your questions coming up. All right, toot out.